On the news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari links flooding to effects from climate change. Appeal Court says justices that determine the appeal of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu not target of routine posting. UK's new Prime Minister Rishi Sunak vows to fix Truss's mistakes. Well, many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. As Nigeria suffers the devastating impact of flooding in many parts of the country, President Muhammadu Buhari has linked climate change, desertification and drought in northern Nigeria as the primary causes. President Buhari said this on Tuesday when he met with former United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on the sideline of the first Work Bio Summit 2022 held in South Korea. During the conversation, Buhari expressed delight with the existing cooperation between Nigeria and the Republic of Korea, especially in energy supply, citing gas exports to the Asian country. Describing education as a key investment in addressing unemployment and underdevelopment, the president also noted that health challenges must be equally addressed. Well, to get more insight into the matter, I spoke to legal expert and political commentator Evan Tufeli. I began by asking him what his thoughts were on the recent statement by President Buhari on climate change and flooding in the country.
Yeah, so I think the president was wrong when he said that it's climate change. There's climate change is affecting every country of the world, okay? Climate change is like the big elephant, okay? But every country I know in the world have proactive measure against natural disaster, okay, like flooding. Flooding is containable. I mean, what we have is not earthquake. So it's containable, even earthquake, there's a way they contain it, okay? So I think that ours is a case of negligence, the negligence of the sovereign. To only wait until there is a natural disaster. In fact, the one in 2012 was as disastrous as this. There's going to be heavy rainfall. It was predicted by the Nigerian authority, meteorological, there's going to be heavy rainfall, there's going to be flooding. We all had that, but corresponsively, there was no plan against it. Now, look at the outcome. It has affected the LNG. Okay, the production of gas now has gone down because there's flood in the Niger Delta area. Okay, 2, the agro-business, farms all over the country. One of the companies, one of the biggest agricultural company in Nigeria, I was with one of their staff who said that there's going to be serious food shortage next year because their rice farm is completely gone.
Well, that was Evan Tufeli, legal expert and political commentator, speaking on the problem of flooding and its impacts in Nigeria. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has clarified that the transfer of its 21 justices to various divisions in the country has nothing to do with the judgment of the court that discharged and acquitted the terrorism charges against the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. Contrary to a report in a section of the media, the appellate court said that the postings of 21 out of its 81 justices was a routine exercise aimed at rejuvenating the justice delivery of the court. The chief registrar of the court, Umar Mohammed Bangari, in a statement, denied the media reports that the 3 justices would deliver the October 12 judgment that ordered the release of Kanu from the detention was transferred. In the statement he personally signed, the chief registrar said that only 1 justice out of the 3 that handled Kanu's matter was affected by the postings. The Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA) has commended activities at the Onne Port complex, saying the facility is the fastest growing port in Nigeria. Mohammed Bello Koko, managing director of the NPA, said this at a press briefing in Abuja on Tuesday. He said the port is now active, not just in terms of importation, but also in terms of exports, adding that it is a delight to see that another port outside Lagos is growing at an impressive rate.
In terms of percentage increase, half year, Onne has done 11,800 metric tons, half of this year. We are seeing that the increase in percentage is high, probably because it's easier to do business in Onne now. And of course, naturally, because we have deployed more equipment in Onne, more personnel, we have paid attention to ensure that we make the port more competitive. So that's what I meant by that. In terms of export also, there's an export processing terminal within Onne itself. One of the terminal operators created an export processing terminal, which we licensed. And they have all the equipment, the technology, and the processes to send it out. One of the terminal operators also expanded their terminals. They have spent about $100 million in terms of terminal expansion. That's West African Container Terminal. And so they have created more stacking areas. They're able to collect more cargo, and they don't have space problems, actually. And they have newer equipment, they have cranes, they have RTGs, and so on and so forth. So probably, if you are able to send in your cargo and clear it faster, naturally, I mean, in Onne, you are likely to go there also.
The First Lady of Edo State, Betsy Obaseki, has charged medical practitioners to take their profession as a calling and treat their patients with care and the professionalism that accords value to human life. The Edo State First Lady gave the charge today on a visit to the Edo State College of Nursing and Sciences in Benin City to commission the institution's new ICT hub and declare open a one-day capacity building workshop for the students. While addressing the students during the capacity building workshop, Obaseki urged the students to recognize that they are valuable and to place human life above benefits.
So you all regard yourselves as very vital and important in the work of medicine and looking after human beings, saving lives, healing people. You are God's extended arm of healing to humanity. That's what you are. You are going to be the newest crop in the country, I believe, that would pave the way and shine the light for others. You would produce young men and women here who would see the saving of a life as more important than anything else, than the money. You will not work in hospitals where they would say a patient would come bleeding and dying. They would say, bring money first before they treat you. That must not happen again in our country.
In whatever field you work in the healthcare space, we all bring a lot of value to the table. But what we have seen, like Her Excellency said, is a situation where we have placed ourselves in front of the people we care for. Our profession, our election, our calling calls for humility. And as we merge humility with professionalism, Edo State will become the trailblazer in the healthcare space globally.
A humanitarian group has called on the government to introduce food and agri clubs in elementary schools in Nigeria. The convener of Food Fair, Lydia A.K., made this known at an event held in commemoration of this year's World Food Day. She said for pupils and students to cultivate the habit of farming and add to food making, such initiative will checkmate the incessant inflation of food prices and food security in Nigeria. On his part, the special advisor to the former Minister of Agriculture, Kayode Oyeleye, said expressing the young lads to farming at the tender age would help bridge the generational gap in food production.
When we say teach them early, we want to look at the possibility of focusing on schools, where we can now begin to encourage schools to do school agriculture, to do food production, to do school farming, or better still, what we call family farming. In this situation, you now see that you can plant in schools. The students or the pupils will be the ones watching over them for the next couple of months until the harvest is done. When you harvest, you can sell. You can give as gifts to the students or to the children, to the teachers. But what we're looking at is the possibility of reproducing food across all our schools to be able to boost food production in Nigeria.
It's important to begin to induct and indoctrinate them now. And if we don't do that now, we have a generational gap. And that will not be good for our food security situation as a country. So it's better to begin to expose them now, to begin to let them understand the roles they can play, the opportunities that are there in agriculture, and how to make to take advantage of this.
We are here because we are celebrating World Food Day, and we want to encourage the children to catch them young, to expose them to agric, so that whatever knowledge they gather in their school, they'll be able to apply it to agric and be able to feed the nation.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria ready to become global hub for vaccine production and distribution, President Buhari says at Global Bio Summit in Seoul. Details of the story and more right after this break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. As Nigeria suffers the devastating impact of flooding in many parts of the country, President Muhammadu Buhari has linked climate change, desertification and drought in northern Nigeria as the primary causes. President Buhari said this on Tuesday when he met with former United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon at the sideline of the First World Bio Summit 2022 held in South Korea. We also told you that the Court of Appeal in Abuja has clarified that the transfer of its 21 justices to various divisions in the country has nothing to do with the judgment of the court that discharged the terrorism charges against the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. But in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria is ready to become a global hub for sustainable manufacturing and distribution of vaccine and biological pharmaceuticals. Buhari made this known on Tuesday while speaking at the First World Bio Summit 2022 in Seoul, South Korea. According to him, the ongoing effort of his administration towards achieving the target is to support initiatives towards keeping all of mankind safe. President Buhari also called for the speedy takeoff of the local production of mRNA vaccines after the World Health Organization (WHO) selected Nigeria as one of the 6 African countries to receive technology needed to produce the vaccines. Well, U.S. President Joe Biden will receive an updated COVID-19 vaccine while launching a new push to boost the number of Americans, especially seniors, getting the shots ahead of the coming winter. While White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre on Monday said about 12 million Americans are now getting the updated vaccine shots, a rise of nearly 60% from the first weeks after they were rolled out last month. The onset of flu season in the United States is coinciding with the report of cases of respiratory syncytial virus, especially in children, straining hospitals in recent weeks. Well, we'll take a breather here and return with more stories and business. To stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Abisola Adebayo now joins us for more stories and business. Over to you, Abisola.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has hinted that some successes have been made since the launch of the bank's digital currency known as the e-Naira. Governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, made the disclosure on Tuesday while delivering a keynote address at the e-Naira one-year anniversary in Abuja. Emefiele explained that over 700,000 e-Naira transactions worth 8 billion naira have been recorded in the last year since the launch of the currency. The e-Naira, according to Emefiele, has offered Nigerians endless possibilities in using financial services as well as achieving some set out objectives. Meanwhile, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, says the bank will release $120 million to settle outstanding trapped funds of international airlines operating in the country. Emefiele said this on Monday during a meeting between the leadership of the House of Representatives, International Air Transportation Association, Airline Operators of Nigeria, and the Minister of Aviation, Adi Sirika. The CBN governor explained that the bank had in August resolved to release $265 million to the airlines, $110 million on the spot, and the rest in 60 days. He added that the remaining money will be released on the 31st of October.
Allow Air Peace or any other Nigerian airline to fly into your country. What Air Peace will do is that Air Peace will charge Naira, just like we also expect foreign airlines to charge Naira. But under BASA, every penny that the foreign airline sells in tickets, it must convert into dollars and take away. You cannot even compare us with Ghana. The size of the aviation market in Nigeria is 40 times that of Ghana. 45 times that of Ghana. If you do the math, and my math is correct, 8 million times 45, it will give you about 360. We've been doing our best to ensure that we have taken this on board and we have resolved the issues. We never said that at any point the CBN or the government of Nigeria is not providing money to repatriate.
Well, we'll take a break now and return with a review of the stock market. Nigeria's equities market furthered its movement northwards today by 0.73% as investors continue to leverage bargain opportunities in value stocks trading at new lows. At the end of trading, the all-share index increased by preceding day's point to close at 44,788 basis points, while market capitalization increased by almost 25 billion naira. Now over to the gainers chart, we see BUA Cement and Sunu Assurance leading the gainers counter as they recorded a 6 naira 20 kobo increase at the close of trading. On the flip side, Royalex and Multiverse are part of the biggest losers during trading today. They had a combined 47 kobo loss. Our market summary sees 159 million units of shares valued at 2.7 billion naira exchanging hands in 3,385 deals. Even though we're not back to our usual levels on the NGX yet, it looks like the bull is here to stay. So what we have to hope for is a sustained rebound, sustained bargain hunting, and then perhaps the week might just close in the positive. Moving on to the foreign scene, that's the FTSE, the Dow Jones, and the Nikkei. Britain's mid-cap stock closed at its highest level in a month on Tuesday amid hopes political and economic turmoil will calm following the appointment of Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister. Wall Street also continued its advance on Tuesday as weak data stoked hopes that the Federal Reserve will slow its aggressive pace of rate hikes. And Japan stock's Nikkei is also in the positive territory, recording a 1.02% increase. That's all on Stock Market Report. Back to you, Folashade, for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Bisola, for that update. And on the foreign scene, new British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has vowed to fix the errors made by his predecessor, Liz Truss, while warning of difficult decisions ahead. Speaking on the steps of Downing Street on Tuesday after being appointed Premier by King Charles III, Sunak admitted mistakes were made by Truss and said he had been appointed in part to fix them. Sunak takes over at an intensely challenging time for the UK economy, with surging energy costs, mortgage rates and inflation triggering a cost of living crisis for millions of households and businesses.
Right now, our country is facing a profound economic crisis. The aftermath of COVID still lingers. Putin's war in Ukraine has destabilized energy markets and supply chains the world over. I want to pay tribute to my predecessor, Liz Truss. She was not wrong to want to improve growth in this country. It is a noble aim. And I admired her restlessness to create change. But some mistakes were made. Not born of ill will or bad intentions. Quite the opposite, in fact. But mistakes, nonetheless. And I have been elected as leader of my party and your Prime Minister, in part, to fix them. And that work begins immediately. I will place economic stability and confidence at the heart of this government's agenda. All I can say is that I am not daunted. I know the high office I have accepted, and I hope to live up to its demands. But when the opportunity to serve comes along, you cannot question the moment, only your willingness.
Well, up next is Entertainment Reporter News Now.
The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, has opened up on her ancestral background. And guess what? She is part Nigerian. Meghan made this known on Tuesday in the latest episode of her podcast Archetypes, where she expressed her desire to learn more about her roots. The Duchess disclosed that she took a genealogy test, which revealed she is 43% Nigerian. Meghan added that she will dig deeper to know if she is either of Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa extraction. The podcast revelation was the first time Meghan opened up about her ancestral background on the public stage. The wife of Yoruba movie actor Kunle Afod has confirmed their separation. Desola's announcement comes just 24 hours after celebrating Kunle on his birthday on Instagram, but recent checks reveal she had already unfollowed him, a gesture he reciprocated. Back in 2018, Desola had caused a major commotion on social media when she cried out that actresses would not allow her and the children enjoy her husband. Although the reason for the separation is still unknown, rumor has it that there is a U.S. baby mama involved. Desola and Kunle have 4 sons together. That's it on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Some fiscally challenged athletes in Lagos State have called on the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, to reconsider his stance on delisting them from the forthcoming 2022 National Sports Festival scheduled to hold from November 28 to December 10 in Delta State. The para-athletes made this call at a media briefing in Lagos. They lamented that exclusion from the tournament does not promote inclusiveness. They explained that they have made lots of investments in their career for the upcoming tournament, adding that the latest development will be a discouragement as the event is a form of rehabilitation to them.
It is a good idea to do a separate para festival. But however, considering the situation of things with persons with disability all over the world, globally, the whole world is tending towards inclusiveness, and that is what we should be looking forward to. In the Western world, when they want to do their sporting festival, they do it as an inclusive sport, because persons with disability sports, which is also known as para sport or adaptive sport, is something that people are not used to yet. So if they do it separately and not include others, there will be little or no persons that will show up. There will be little or no media coverage, and people would not have an idea of what the adaptive sport is about. So that is one of the main reasons why they are considering doing Olympics and Paralympics together.
Now we are appealing to the Honourable Minister of Youth and Sport, Mr. Sunday Dare, that he should please reconsider us based on this National Sport Festival about 2022. That he should just help us, and most of us we've invested more based on our supplements, then the training, and again considering the the time being is almost close to the festival. That she just reconsider us and include us in this Asaba 2022 National Sports Festival.
We are not begging for too much, but we want to participate. We want to compete. Mr. Minister, please reconsider your decision. This is what we use in feeding our family. This is what we use as a rehabilitating factor. Please, again, reconsider your decision. We are not consulted before the decision was made. We are the players of the industry, the athletes. Please, the athletes are now saying you should reconsider your decision.
And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Fola Shadi. Bye for now.